Once seen as a strong currency, the British pound has quickly turned into the currency with leprosy. On today's episode, we'll discuss the following: the Brexit's effect on the British pound, Saudi Arabia's deflation, and Venezuela's hyperinflation. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. So let's get into this today, the effect of the Brexit still going on, and let's begin with this article out of Reuters. Now, initially what we had after the Brexit vote, we saw volatility. You see the stocks coming down, currencies are falling, gold is rising, the market's in a panic. And then, not too long after, they said, look, everything is just fine. Look at the stock market. It's making new highs for 2016. Everything is just fine. What are you worried about? And then here again, using the exact same excuse they did last week, saying that this, in fact, was the reason why stocks are going down today. And it is unbelievable to see this information just all the time, such lies and lies. Asian share markets turn tail as fears over instability in the European Union returned with a vengeance, sending the pound to 3-decade lows and hammering risk assets of all stripes. Okay, so as I just said, basically they're going to 3-decade lows right now. The markets are extremely volatile. They're very uncertain. So hang on to that for a moment. Concerns about the impact on already fragile global growth spread to commodity markets. And they're talking about oil having shed 5% on Tuesday. So what we have is one of the most important commodities, as I always said, is oil. And look how volatile it is. This market, even though should be in fact much more stable because of how much is produced, about how much trade there is done about it, and the fact that it is so unstable just shows you that it is the financial markets which are controlling the price, not the supply and demand. Spooked investors rush into the arms of safe haven sovereign debt. This is actually, it must be humor out of Reuters here, because there is no safe haven sovereign debt. Thought I'd just throw that in there. And took markets deeper into unknown territory. They get into the US Treasuries, but I wanted to skip to the bottom where we see there's no inflation prospects. There's no strong growth. The only thing we have is uncertainty. And what's important to note about uncertainty is that where there is risk, that's the way I see uncertainty, where there is risk, there is fragility, and where there is fragility, there will certainly be a crash. Just wait for it. Now, as we look at the next article here, it's a chart actually, the pound's 100-year debasement. And this chart begins around 1910. And things change over the years. No empire will rule forever. There will be basically no financial gain forevermore. This isn't the roaring 20s forever. Things change. That's for certain. And this is what we can see from the pound, seeing it over 100 years and noticing the fact that there's many years where things stay quite even, but over time it looks like the pound dollar ratio has really changed. Now remember, it's not just the pound on its own, it's always what is it versus. They don't do it against something real, for example real food like a loaf of bread. No, it's done against other currencies, in this case the pound dollar. So in that ratio there, despite the fact that it's been relatively stable for the past couple decades, you can see it going now to a 30-year low. And that is very huge news. Understand that things are definitely continuing. That trajectory where you can see it heading is definitely going in that direction. Bloomberg, to bolster its finances, the kingdom, Saudi Arabia, so-called kingdom, raised a $10 billion loan in April and was weighing a first international bond sale of as much as $15 billion. And they wanted to do this, raise some cash because of oil prices. All I wanted to note from this, they're considering less conventional methods, including IOUs to pay outstanding bills. Just imagine that. IOUs coming out of Saudi Arabia because they can't pay their bills. That's big. That's big news, but of course doesn't get the proper attention. Sure, this is in the mainstream media, but it's not getting the proper attention that it deserves. If Saudi Arabia can't pay its bills and they're supposedly sitting on this unlimited supply of oil that they claim to have, then what's going on right now? This is very, very interesting. And also they mentioned the fact that they're diversifying out of oil, trying to get into more tourism and things because, you know, with different types of energy coming online and everything like this, they want to be prepared. And supposedly part of this bond sale was one of those things. Now, just turn the page for just a moment here as we look at Ottawa shutting down kids' lemonade stand over permit, sparking criticism. This is going on in the US big time, and it's the same thing, in fact, in Canada, where because you don't have a permit, you're, in this case, a 5- and 7-year-old child couldn't have a lemonade stand. That, to me, is when you know you have tyrants in control. Tyrants in control. A 5-year-old and a 7-year-old can operate a lemonade stand where they probably sell, 4 lemonades the whole day. And that's when you look at it and you have to say, why do we have these bureaucrats? Are they really doing any benefit to us? I'll leave that up to you. Venezuela, where a hamburger is officially $170. And you can see in Venezuela that, I've seen some photograph evidence of this, but the menus there, they're on sheets of paper because the price changes so often, they have to reprint it in order to update to the new pricing. I don't know if a hamburger is $170 there, but what I know is that the prices continue to increase. How many people here know of an individual who lives in a hyperinflationary environment right now? In my discussions with people who are undergoing this right now, firsthand experience, the exact things that we've been hearing about, the civil unrest, people making, let's just say, a little bit more than demands, getting very frustrated, the anger, there's fighting, there's a lot of enhanced police presence on the streets, everything along the line that we've heard about. It's happening now. So you think you're in the US, you're in Australia, you're in whatever country that it can't happen to you. Well, go ahead and believe that. But there's some people out there who just want the damn truth. And the truth is that bad things are going to happen, and all for the same exact reason. People in control are screwing around, and they're doing it intentionally to destabilize this system and cause panic, cause mass upheaval, cause civil unrest, cause riots, cause chaos, and cause pain and brutality for the general population. Let me move on so I don't get onto the topic. Anyway, we're like a bomb. Food riots show Venezuela crisis has gone beyond politics. Look at the lineups. They're everywhere in Venezuela. This isn't just Venezuela, it's other countries as well, but Venezuela being the hot topic. Anyway, let's move on here. Another one. Venezuela's gold reserves have plunged to the lowest level on record after it sold $1.7 billion of the precious metal in the first quarter of the year to repay its debts. Venezuela's in trouble. They're selling off their gold, and this is just one piece of it, because they're going to have to sell all their assets. They're going to have to get rid of them all. They're going to have to allow all the big corporations to come in and steal their resources. And it's just like countries like Italy, where they're going to have to sell off all of their national treasures, and Greece, which has already been doing that. And then you'll look around the world and you will see corporations and so-called elite owning every single thing that has some value. That's going on today. It's not going to happen. It's going on today. Look at this. You saw the forest fires taking place in Canada, Fort McMurray. That's the region where they have a lot of these oil wells. Okay, so the tar sands there. So what we have nearby, unfortunately, is a nuclear waste site. Think about this. In an area partly ravaged by flames sits a nuclear waste site. Nuclear waste site. What would happen if the two managed to meet? Well, the fact is that they do not clean up the mess. If something should happen, if that were to leak into the groundwater, into the earth, there would not be a cleanup crew, and that's just the way it is. They do not take care of us. The FDA said, the EPA said that the air was safe to breathe on 9/11. That's a confirmed lie, and here we are today dealing with the exact same issues. Last but not least, robotics and automation. This one here gives you your pills, and it has facial recognition technology, as if we don't have enough of this already. Now you need one to dispense your pills because people are on so many pharmaceutical drugs that they're all doped out, and they're going to be sitting there with drool coming down their mouth, and their facial recognition technology robot is going to dispense them the pills, probably put it in their mouth for them, and move their jaw up and down so they can chew it. That's enough for this video. If you found it informative, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to check out my book, go over to Amazon. They have a look inside feature which will allow you to flip through the pages of the book to see if you like it. Take care.